cities across the country are hurting in the wake of the financial impact of the pandemic. In a new study, 2/3 of them say they've halted plans to repair roads or put off major investments. 75% say they are slashing services or spending. News 5's John Kosick joining us live now. And John, that is especially true right here in Ohio.
Homa, that's because of the state's reliance on income taxes to fund local government. As a result, many of the cities are now turning to Washington for direct help. In passing the CARES Act earlier this year, Congress set aside aid for state and local governments. $3.74 billion came to Ohio, with $215 million of that going to Cuyahoga County. But
that money is very, very limited in how it can be used.
If you have a direct COVID-19 expense, you can use the money to cover it.
But you can't use it for an indirect expense, which is a result of reduced revenue, which is a result of the reduced economy, which is the result of the coronavirus.
Cuyahoga County at least saw money directly because they have a population over 500,000, the threshold for direct payments. But as the National League of Cities points out, there are over 19,000 cities, towns, and villages in the U.S. Only 36 met that criteria and saw direct assistance from Washington. That's why they are pushing for the SMART Act, which would provide $500 billion in flexible funding to state and local governments to offset what they've lost.
If we don't get that direct funding, looking at this data, we got to brace ourselves as leaders, but brace our residents because a storm is coming.
Local governments are funded by taxes and fees, property taxes on average being the biggest one. Some, however, differ, relying more heavily on sales taxes to keep the municipal lights on, and an even smaller percent nationwide rely on income taxes to do it. This piece of the pie, that would be Ohio. And that is why Ohio has felt the impact of this much sooner than other states. If you don't have income coming in, you don't have income taxes. The National League of Cities is hoping that the Senate will move on this SMART Act before they recess for their summer in August. Live in Shaker Heights, John Kosick, News 5.